high school friends back from college.
I think it was like the first weekend back. Came back from Arizona State.
Reuniting for a carefree weekend of boating and beer.
I know I had work that weekend, and he's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
We're going to the lake.
The fun begins at their friend Brandon Ellingson's home on the Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri.
So, he invited me. He told me, he's like, I plan on going to with him, it was like, I'm going to the lake this weekend, let's go.
But for Brandon, the weekend would take a dark turn, ending in a horrible tragedy and a stunning case of possible criminal negligence.
Never in our minds were we expecting the situation that had happened, so.
Our Andrea Isom is following new dramatic details as Brandon's friends and family are speaking out about the day that would forever be etched in their memory. Brandon was a strapping 20-year-old All-American college student, a champion football player, and beloved son.
Being his mom continues to be your greatest joy. Why?
Oh, I was just blessed to have him in my life. He was a one of a kind. He touched so many people's lives while he was here, and I got to be there for every moment of it.
Yeah, I don't remember my life without him before it happened, so.
Anybody he would come in contact to that was less fortunate than him, he was really kind to. So I think that was probably the biggest thing.
You were honored to be his dad.
Yes, very much so. I was very lucky.
But luck was scarce on the day Brandon and 6 friends headed to the lake and spent the afternoon at Coconuts, a popular lakeside bar and grill.
Tell us what happened that day.
Brandon was going to be flying out pretty soon to Europe to study abroad for the summer. So this was his only opportunity to go to the lake. He'd been looking forward to it, and he wanted everything to be perfect for his friends. That day, he'd been out at a restaurant that we went to all the time. They were in the pool, and they'd been out eating. They had been playing sand volleyball.
Had you guys had a few beers? Had that happen?
Yeah, we were, casually drinking.
It's not like we were belligerent, passed out, nothing. We ate. Our whole plan was to stay there all day and hang out. It was a great, beautiful day out, so.
Yet under the clear blue sky, trouble was looming on the picturesque lake.
I'd been down there a week before, and I noticed that the water patrol was all over the place. It just looked like they were looking to write up tickets and that type of thing, because I'd seen a few boats pull over. So anyway, when he was going down, I let him know that he needed to really watch out for that and be careful.
Sure enough, as the guys leave the bar with plans for Brandon to operate the boat, Missouri Highway Patrol Officer Anthony Piercy zeroes in. Friends believe Piercy was just waiting to pounce.
Tony Piercy had spent the afternoon basically staking out this place, looking for somebody to pull over.
And it didn't take long. Within minutes of leaving Coconuts, with Brandon at the helm, Trooper Piercy busts him on suspicion of boating while intoxicated.
He was the first person to see the cop when he was behind us, and he was like, hey, can you guys be cooperative, sit down, behave?
Brandon took charge when we got pulled over and told us to just chill out because everything's gonna be fine.
No, it wasn't. The officer quickly ushers Brandon to the police boat. The arrest can be seen here in a picture snapped by one of Brandon's buddies. Trooper Piercy first does a field test, then puts Brandon in handcuffs and throws a life vest over his arms, cuffed behind his back. But tragically, that life vest would soon become a cloak of death, and this photo image the last taken of Brandon alive.
You guys saw Anthony Piercy put the life jacket on Brandon.
Yeah.
Describe that.
Right from the get-go, it just didn't look right. It was already strapped up. It's one of those life jackets where you gotta put your arms through. Yeah, it was definitely not on properly at all.
What's the point of even having a life jacket at that point? It was so bizarre.
His hands were handcuffed from behind, so he had no mobility. It was like he was in a straitjacket.
Brandon's friends say Officer Piercy then quickly speeds off, with Brandon in custody, leaving the other boys behind.
Lake of the Ozarks is a huge place, and he didn't even ask if anybody really knew how to operate the boat or how to get there. None of those boys were from there. They didn't know the lake.
Luckily, one of our friends actually owns a boat, and he's comfortable with driving a boat. Our plan was to follow him to the etched, And it hadn't been 30 seconds by the time we got all figured out, situated, and he was gone. We had no idea where he went.
Out on the lake and out of sight, a simple misdemeanor arrest was about to go tragically wrong. While racing along the lake surface, Brandon is sitting in the right front seat, his hands cuffed behind his back and his feet off the deck. Then, according to Piercy, his patrol boat hit another boat's wake. The impact so strong, Brandon flies overboard. And Piercy radios headquarters saying Brandon may have jumped.
I can't say 100% for sure if he did it on purpose or if it was the weight.
Now in the water, Brandon's life vest slips off, floating to the surface. But his hands are still cuffed behind his back. And he's sinking fast.
He just had no way to protect himself, and out he went. He treaded water for 3 to 4 minutes.
Next, tragedy on the lake.
I don't want this to happen to any other family.
Was it just an innocent accident? Brandon's family says it's a cover-up.
You don't cover up if there's an accident. You just don't. There were way too many people's hands in this that did wrong.